David Bay here with Peter McGuff from MuscularDevelopment.com. We're wrapping things up from the 2016 NPC Nationals here in Miami. Peter, we'll start with the bodybuilders. That's going to be our main focus of the show. Overall, a little bit of a down year for Nationals.
Yeah, I think particularly in the heavier weights, the supers were pretty disappointing overall. The lighter classes, again, they showed better quality in depth, but with all due respect to everybody, we didn't see a superstar come forward, I don't think.
Now, do you think it's an issue, and we've talked about this numerous times, you, Bob, myself, the issue of the number of pro cards being given out now. We used to, we talk so much about how at the USAs it used to be the overall winner. At Nationals it used to be just the weight class winners. Now we have at Masters, Nationals, and North Americans a lot of pro cards being given away. Are you just, kind of thinning things out too much with the number of pro cards being given away, and that's where we don't see the competitive level that we used to in the NPC?
I agree with the first part of that we're not there's too many pro cards given out. That's my view. But I don't really think that makes guys going for the Nationals think, I don't have to try as hard. I think they're all trying as hard as they possibly can. I think in some ways they may be trying too hard, doing too many things and falling short. But, we can only call it the way it is. I mean, I don't think anybody could look at this Nationals and say it was an outstanding Nationals.
Now, there seems to be, I don't want to say an ego issue with bodybuilders, but, since the inception and the creation of the men's physique division, now the classic physique division, the bodybuilders a lot of times consider themselves to be harder workers. They're the hardcore ones. But from a conditioning standpoint, we're consistently seeing the men's physique guys and now the classic physique guys showing up in better shape than the bodybuilders. I mean, what needs to be done? What do these guys got to do to start getting bodybuilding back on the right track where conditioning becomes a main focus?
Well, it is a conundrum, and you're quite right. We see the men's physique and the classic guys, who often have the same coaches and turn up in much crisper condition. I actually think, especially in the supers, that they're trying to be too heavy, but weight doesn't equate to presence on the stage. Sean Ray at 210 pounds could stand next to a 270 pound Paul Dillett and not look overpowered because he had quality. If you go for quality, you won't be overpowered. They've got to start doing that. It's not all about size. I think also the off-season, they think the off-season is an eating season. Let's get as big as possible and come down. And they come down 20, 30 pounds when they've really gone up way too much and they need to come down way too more. Somebody go up to 260, say, I'll get down to 230. Really, they need to get down to 220 to be in condition. So I hope it sorts itself out, but it's been a few years now that we've been sort of seeing this sort of repeating itself.
All right. Now, we definitely did have some good competitors here. A lot of people walking away with their IFBB Pro cards. We're going to talk about some of the class winners here. Nothing, super shocking. We didn't see a Sean Clarita in the lighter classes. Our bantamweight winner, Kenneth Ishikawa, our lightweight winner, Justin Randall. Both guys look really good. They're going to have a long way in Chris Murray, our welterweight winner, a long way to go before they're going to be competitive as an IFBB Pro. The middleweight winner, Julius Runningen.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with Julian, and I think he's one of the guys that jumped out to me as somebody who can make a relatively quick impact in the IFBB. What do you think?
Yeah, you said that as soon as he came out. I mean, he had a lot of muscle on a middleweight frame. I believe he used to be a light heavyweight. Is that correct?
I think he's gone back and forth, but he was actually trying to cut down to the welterweights for this show, missed welterweight, so he was only about 162 pounds, so he was giving up a lot of weight to some of the middleweights.
Yeah, I mean, when he came out, and really at the end, pound for pound, he probably had the most muscle of any of the champions. He was very impressive, and I think he could do something in the 212s.
Yeah. Now, another notable name in the middleweights, your fifth place finisher, Justin Yurko. Now, Justin, I saw some pictures of him leading into the show. Knew he was going to need to be a little bit leaner. This is one of these kids where if he ever really nails it conditioning-wise, he's got a ton of muscle. He flows very well. Justin, he can be a national champion, can he?
Definitely. I mean, he didn't look like a middleweight. He looked like a light heavyweight, didn't he? And I think I heard that he weighed in at 175, but by prejudging he was 190. So, and he was massive compared to the other guys. He's got a great frame. So with modification, he can really break through and be a champion. I'm sure he can.
All right, now moving into the light heavyweights, we saw a newcomer, Derek Oslin. Derek's first time on a national stage. He's actually only been competing for a few years. We saw him as a heavyweight in some of the NPC shows, dropped at light heavyweight, as a lot of guys do for their national shows. Kind of came out of nowhere. Looked pretty good. Not the super wow factor that we've seen from some of the light heavyweights, but definitely has potential.
Yeah, he definitely deserved to win today with his condition and everything. Like you say, there wasn't something there that was making him jump up and down. And not to take anything away from him at all, because he deserved the win. But Kane Bishop in second, if that guy ever nails it, I mean, he's got his pro card now, but we've seen this a couple of times. He's got the shape, he's got the proportion, he's got the tiny waist. If he just gets into contest condition, he's going to be very, very competitive in any lineup.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree. And Kane came out, and we see his name on the lineup. And when you see somebody like that's name on the lineup, you get excited about the potential of him really coming out and wowing people. And even being a little bit off, Kane is still very impressive. But, he's going to have to really focus on dialing his conditioning in, especially in the 212 division. Presumably that's where he's going to be competing. There's no slouches in the 212, especially as far as conditioning. He's going to have to bring that up. Moving into our heavyweights, a good heavyweight battle. We saw a lot of guys that were close to being really good, but nobody who really, really popped. Your winner, Sean Vasquez, definitely the top of the heavyweights as far as I'm concerned, although they did rejudge it tonight. How did you see the heavyweights playing out?
Yeah, I saw it between originally Vasquez and Kevin Rainey, who was in third. Kevin has a lot of muscle. Again, he just needs to be a bit sharper, and he needs to, his waist is a little bit thick, he needs some more detail in that midsection. But I saw it between him. But then, what's his name? Eric Dankwa came into it and got better as it went on.
And he got significantly leaner. He came in pretty hard tonight.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he moved up. He made some movement. We didn't see overall a lot of movement from yesterday to today between guys, but he was one of the ones that really did make a movement, and somebody else in the super heavyweights did the same that we'll come to.
Yeah, speaking of the super heavyweights, we'll get to our winner, Dorian Haywood, here in a minute, but Joseph Mackey, big name coming in last year, didn't do as well as he wanted, came out yesterday, a little bit disappointing. He came out tonight and just looked like a different guy. I talked to him after the show. He said he dropped 9 pounds. Joseph shows up yesterday like he looked tonight. You think he's a winner?
Probably. I mean, this is what we earlier on we talked about condition. This guy dropped 9 pounds in the super heavyweight division and looked much better and bigger. Absolutely. It's not all about size. It's about the condition, about the separation, about the impact. And he was the lesson that proved it. Drop some weight and you look much better.
All right, now Dorian Haywood, our champion, we saw him win Junior Nationals in 2015, went to the USAs as a heavyweight, was a little bit undersized. We saw him come back this year, got runner-up at the USAs, third place at the North Americans, so he's been knocking on the door getting a pro card. Again, with the heavyweights, and certainly no disrespect to Dorian, he looked phenomenal. Not one of these just blow you out of the water super heavyweights, but definitely a good win for him.
Yeah, I mean, he worked hard and he deserved it. And over the 2 days, he was the winner. He needs to still work on certain things, maybe sculpt that waistline in a bit. But he's got a lot of muscle. He could have been a little bit sharper tonight, I feel. I think he was a bit sharper yesterday.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys, I think, he's got a well enough balanced physique where if he does put on a little bit of muscle and can improve that conditioning, he's one of those guys that could do well at the IFBB level.
Yeah, he's a big guy. He's got the muscle mass. He's got the frame to build on that. Now he's got his pro card. He's not that old, is he? I mean, he's
early 30s, maybe. I think.
I thought he was younger than that, but he's got a good attitude as well, I believe. That'll fare him well among the pros. I don't think he's going in there with I'm the next Mr. Olympia or anything.
All right. We do want to take a second to congratulate some of our other overall winners, the new IFBB pros. Our women's bodybuilding overall winner, Cherise Johnson. I said she looked like a little Dexter Jackson. I was very impressed by her.
Yeah. I mean, she came on. She's got a great physique, a great look to her. She's very petite, but she's got the muscle. And then when she did a posing routine, that was pure class. She's got star appeal, I feel. She really, caught the audience's imagination, both as a presentation and as a physique.
Yeah, and also standing out to me in female bodybuilding, your heavyweight winner, Teresa Ivanchik. I apologize, Teresa, for messing up her name. We've seen her at a handful of national level shows. Conditioning still a bit of an issue here, but size-wise and structure-wise, she looked really good. Now, Teresa, to me, is one of these girls where she's got as much muscle as a lot of the girls in female bodybuilding, but it's got, and this might sound a little contradictory because I'm saying she's not conditioned enough, but her muscle has kind of a nice flow to it. It's not the harsh tie-ins that sometimes female bodybuilding gets criticized for. I thought she looked really good.
Yeah, I think she's got a lot of muscle, but it's good looking. It's not tired. She's got good skin. She looks really healthy. Absolutely. She's got really, lat spread and everything, but it's still got that feminine look to it. She's still a woman, she looks, dare I say, she doesn't look so harsh or extreme, even though her body is phenomenal. She looks really healthy. That's the thing that I came away from.
Yeah, and she was one of those girls that came out to me as somebody who can really jump into the IFBB and make an impact. Yeah. Our figure overall winner, Tiffany Hebert, figure not as competitive, I think, as we saw last year, but definitely some good competitors. Our women's physique overall winner, however, Vanessa Nasheim, to me, she looked incredible. She looked like she could have stepped on an IFBB stage and done very well.
Yeah, I think, this is somebody who is going to go into the pros and probably going to do pretty well from the get-go. It'll be interesting to watch her progress. She deserved everything she got tonight, and it'll be interesting to see how she goes from here.
All right, and touching back on our earlier discussions about structure, conditioning, our men's physique overall winner, Godfried Saranda. This is a guy with a tiny waist, a big chest, big arms, a big men's physique competitor for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder whether we're going to start to blur the line again between, classic physique and men's bodybuilding as we progress in 2 or 3 years, because he really wouldn't have been out of place in a bodybuilding. You wouldn't have said, "Oh, what's he doing in a bodybuilding?" He's got a great shape, he's got a lot of muscle, big back and everything. So, we'll wait to see how this class develops, and he could be a forerunner for it. Yeah.
All right, and our classic physique winner, George Peterson, a former bodybuilder. George did very well on the NPC scene out on the East Coast. Yeah. Took a few years off, kind of stepped away from the bodybuilding scene until Classic Physique was announced that he would give it a shot. His first year competing this year, obviously first year for the Classic Physique division. He's a national champion. Now, to me, he looked like a guy who could have done very well in bodybuilding. He was 177, so just outside of the middleweight class. Do you think George is one of these guys that can jump into the Classic Physique division, the IFBB, and do fairly well for himself?
Yeah, because he's a big guy. He's got a lot of muscle. He's got great shape. And it's maybe what that division is looking for, as long as we don't, again, push the boundaries. Let's keep it that way.
Yeah, now, a couple of the surprises for me in Classic Physique, Alex Fong, Asian Conan, as I call him. To me, he looked absolutely phenomenal. Then there was another young guy that Matt Porter trains, Rylan McDougall Batiste, and I think his waist is about the size of one of my arms. His legs need to come up a little bit, but just as a whole, we see a lot of guys in this Classic Physique division, tiny waist and really good structure, and I think this NPC Nationals really helped hammer home the point that this is a very good new division and will be for years to come.
Yeah, because how many were in it? I mean, this is the first year of it, and there was over 100, wasn't there, or something? I mean, that just shows there's been these guys waiting for something, and they've come in. It'll only get bigger and better and more quality.
Yeah, and there was one other guy, and I forget his name, and I have it here in the heavyweight bodybuilding. Guys, he came out, he was just outside of your top 5 in the heavyweights, a younger black gentleman, incredible structure, incredible shape, and to me, I did see in him, he's one of the guys that came out and you said that's a future Flex Wheeler or Sean Roden, or he needs to put on some weight, and it's gonna drive me nuts. Like I said, he didn't make the top 5, so I don't have his name written down right now. But the point is that we did see some guys at this show, not necessarily even the weight class winners, but we did see some guys with some really bright potential, and that's what we always want to see coming out of the NPC Nationals.
Yeah, that's what we look forward to. We hope this year was maybe a little bit of a blip. Don't be downhearted, guys. Prove us wrong next year at the USAs and everything, and let's have a superstar come out.
Well, some of these shows, and we've seen this at the local level all the time, and we see it at the national level. Sometimes you'll get people when they're contemplating whether they want to do a national level show or even a local level show. They'll take a look at the show that year, and they'll say, if you have a really stacked nationals, they'll say, oh, maybe I'm not ready for that level. And then all of a sudden all the good people kind of take a step back. And then you have a year like this where everybody's looking at it and saying, well, I should have done nationals. Yeah. So we've seen shows go back and forth a little bit. We saw the USAs drop off 2 years ago. Last year at the USAs, it was absolutely phenomenal. One of the best USAs we've seen for a long time. So, definitely looking forward to coming back here to Miami next year and seeing what new crop of bodybuilders we have and what guys that we already know bring it and just really make that harder push for a pro card. So I'm going to let you get the final word in. Yeah. Final thoughts, 2016 NPC Nationals.
This guy is amazing. He sat through 12 hours of prejudging on Friday, called every competitor, 5 hours this morning, 6 hours tonight. I couldn't do it. I didn't do it. The coverage that we've had this weekend has been phenomenal, and it's all been down to David. So well done, my friend. I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you very much, and I do take some criticism for it once in a while, but I'm never going to back down from the fact that I am a fan first and foremost. If that makes me unqualified for doing this job, then so be it. But I'm a fan. Try to give the fans what I would want sitting at home and what I did want sitting at home when I was following along with the show. So thank you very much. Coming from somebody like Peter, that means the world to me. But, guys, that's going to do it for one more year for us in Nationals. Another year for us for all of our NPC competitions. We look forward to coming at you guys again in 2017 with all the NPC National shows, all the IFBB shows. We got a couple shows left on the calendar. We're going to be bringing you pictures for, stuff like that. But as far as our traveling, as far as having teams on site, this is going to be it for 2016. We really appreciate you guys following along. We look forward to being back next year. But for this year, that's going to do it. One more time, David Bay with Peter McGuff from MuscularDevelopment.com from the 2016 NPC National Championships.